So the basic process for creating a report after you've hired somebody, for the people who haven't had it done, is you're going to retain a planner. Obviously you get some quotes. They're going to arrange to come out to the site, have a look around, accept some documents from you. They want your financial documents, your expenditures, building plans, all that wonderful stuff. And from there, they'll put together a component inventory for your building, because not every building has the same things. Some buildings, a townhouse complex will have roads and even fire hydrants that need to be maintained, whereas a high-rise doesn't have that, okay? And then they're going to go out and they're going to estimate what the repair or replacement cost is for all of these components that they've come up with. And then they're going to take those numbers, put them into a 30-year model using whatever software that they're using. We'll talk a bit about that in a minute. And then they come up with these modeling projections, and the modeling projections are year by year. It's basically a recipe of how you should spend and save your money. And sometimes they can be pretty scary. One of the things we should talk about in a depreciation report, because it's a little bit black magic, is the effective age versus normal lifespan argument that we get into. We've got into a lot of arguments with people who want things to either last longer or they think they're better than they are. But effective age is a trick in the depreciation report that takes into account the actually existing condition of an asset. So if you've got a roof that's been around for 20 years, but it's in really good shape, it might have an effective age of 10 years, right? So it's a little bit like like a car that is driven by a little old lady to church every Sunday and she keeps it in the garage, right? It might be a 1955 Buick, but it's only got 1,000 kilometers on it, so that's kind of the analogy. The effective age can be quite different, even on a similar property that has different phases because of maintenance, because of exposure concerns, adverse conditions, and even poor installation. So if you get a roof that's on one phase had terrible flashing or terrible sealant done on it, or the ballast wasn't done correctly, their roof might be 16 years old and the next phase might be 10. So it comes in through the judgment of the planner. And there is a lot of interpretation that goes into it. And it's not like it's set in stone, it is something that's up for debate. It's not exactly a science, it's a bit of an art.
Per unit.
Okay, so replacement costing methodology. This is another black box of depreciation planning, where if we go out and we determine that you guys have an asphalt roof, how do we come up with a replacement price for it? Most of the depreciation planners will use RS Means or Craftsman Contractors or Marshall and Swift Building Value. These are all systems that you can buy into that give you unit costs for assemblies or for individual building components. And the RS Means is wonderful. You can dig through RS Means and find out what it should cost you to plant a tree in a grass field. I mean, the books are quite detailed and quite elaborate. But they'll give you a unit price and labor costs and all those things, and then you have to adjust it for the currency, and you have to adjust it for the region and a few other factors using indices for the region. And this is the scary part of this, because the modifier for Vancouver is usually quite wrong. Usually we find that if you use the modifier in the RS Means, you're off by 10, 20, 40, 60%. Sometimes you're off by a huge amount. It takes into account general, but it struggles with the particular. So it's good to have somebody who is familiar with the area that they do work in, has gotten quotes before, seen quotes before. And then that's the other thing is if you guys have gotten a quote done, use that. I mean, if that's the price that you've already agreed to pay for something, use that in your depreciation report.